Alright, what's going on YouTube? So today I'm here with somebody pretty special and we're getting a quick tour of the Donovan Mill. This place is insane. I've been here before. We did a haunted tour of it, but this time we're gonna do just the gold, the history, and all that kind of stuff. So say hello to Don, my good friend.
Hello. Yeah.
He's gonna give us a quick tour, and
We're here with John in the blacksmith shop. And this is one of the newer buildings on site. It was built in about 1935, 36, something like that. And Donovan and his crew needed a place where they could repair equipment, and back at that time you couldn't go down to Lowe's or your local hardware and buy something. So,
No.
so they had to fix it themselves. So this is the blacksmith shop. We got a lot of equipment here that was donated / purchased from some people over in Wadsworth, and we got the anvils, trip hammer, drill presses, turning lathes, and a lot of tools, hammers, tongs, and
and it's all ran by belts. When we were here before, they fired it up, but all these little belts right here is what powers everything. It's pretty cool.
We can fire it up here.
Yeah.
If you want.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay.
Cool, it's like a jet engine starting up. That's so cool. Oh wow, you just pull it and it shifts it over to get each one going?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very good.
I didn't see that last time. He showed this last time, but I didn't see that. Wow, that's amazing. Whoa.
Whoops. The belt came off.
Oh, belt came off.
That's happened.
That's how you know it's old school. Ah, that is so cool. And that powers the furnace too, or?
No.
That's separate.
This is just a separate standalone. This was in the machine shop here when we first got here.
Okay.
And we assumed that it was used. For instance, the tires on old wagon wheels, the steel rim was actually called a tire. They would set it in here, heat it up, and then they could slip it over the wood part of the wagon wheel.
Metal expands, right?
Yeah,
and then cool.
that's
Okay, right. Yeah.
And then set it on there, and then
like
pour water on it.
Like those, yeah?
Yep, exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I got no light in here. I should have brought my light. There we go. Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And now we're giving some blacksmithing classes that we just started that earlier this spring.
Oh, cool.
So once a month we have blacksmithing classes.
Actually, yeah, I think
students.
I think when I came here last time, they weren't in here, but they had something set up, or I'm not sure.
Yeah. So it's been fun. Yeah.
When we doing gold smelting, that's what the class I want to learn.
Oh yeah. Well, I need to learn that too.
All right, well, let's learn together.
Yeah. So when the ore first comes, it comes in through this ramp up on top here. There's a grizzly up there. It's made out of railroad rail, and they're all spaced about 9 inches apart. So any rocks larger than 9 inches will not go through there.
Oh, it's like a giant classifier, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it is too big, the old millmen would have to get their sledgehammers out and break it down, or if they were tired at the end of the day or whatever, they would just throw it over the edge. And then it would go from there down into an ore bin, and the ore bin is right above the jaw crusher, which is a 12-inch by 24-inch jaw crusher, and then it would crush it down to 2-inch minus, and down it would flow into the bottom area where there's the conveyor.
Oh, I see it underneath, yeah. Well, this is cool. We didn't get to do this last time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. So here's the old conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Conveyor. What do
And
you call
here's
it?
the ore bin we were talking about. The grizzly is above that. So the ore goes down into this ore bin and then is fed down through.
Look at the size of this thing. Holy cow.
Yeah. So like I was saying, this is a 12-inch by 24-inch jaw crusher.
Yeah.
And it'll crush it down to 2-inch minus. And then it falls onto the conveyor.
To the belt and off it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the stamps. That's cool. So all that material back there, that's all from when it was actually working, or that's just stuff that has
no,
fallen
I
in
think
over
that
the years?
they actually built the ramp out of some other crappy ore or whatever you want to call it, and then you can see some of the pieces that have rolled down off the edge are nice pieces of ore.
Yeah.
It probably has some
Value to it, yeah. Cool. Oh, this is so sick.
Yeah.
What's up top there?
Just 2 more levels. This level up above here, I guess I don't know for sure what it was used
We'll find
for.
out.
But we did have some squatters, shall we say?
They were up there.
Up there, and because there was some blankets and insulations taped to the walls up there, some chairs and stuff. So.
Sounds like they got here in the winter and didn't know where to go.
Yeah, exactly. We can walk up this thing if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I want to see it. Oh, this is cool.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Just up my
there's
toe.
little-
Yeah, I didn't see those.
There's little grease cups here on the side.
Oh, wow. That's what those are for?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
For greasing the pulleys.
That's cool. They thought of everything.
Yeah. And it's warm up here.
Yeah. Oh, and now we're in the middle. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So there's 4 ore bins here,
Yeah.
and this was a mill for all the small miners in the area. So everybody had to keep their ore separate.
Oh,
You know, they
okay.
didn't want Joe's mixed with Dave's or whatever. So,
Right, because there was a million mines around here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And this is a tripper, and it moves along this rail system back and forth and can dump the ore in the various.
Oh, it brings the conveyor belt to.
Yeah.
I see
well,
that.
The conveyor, the belting kind of wraps around here.
Yeah.
So the ore would dump over
Oh, that's
over
cool.
this edge here and into the ore bins.
Yeah. That is really neat. That is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are so lucky that you guys have this standing still. This is so nice.
Yeah. We were really fortunate to be able to get this thing when 90% of the equipment was still here.
Yeah.
You know, so many other places, so many other mills, other things were salvaged back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for the war effort or
Yeah,
to
I've
move on
driven
to
through a
other-
bunch of areas around here, and it's like it's mainly foundations and stuff that's left over.
Yeah,
It's-
that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this
So
is cool.
this pulley here
Mhm.
and this motor and shaft were all down here at this end. This corner of the building had dropped close to 3 feet.
Oh, I remember
because
that.
of
You guys
the
saying that.
deterioration and,
Yeah.
and stuff. So we had to get the weight off of it, and this was part of that weight. And then also these 2 ore bins down here had a lot of ore in it, like 20 tons of ore. So we had to pull that out.
Had to muckle that out.
Yeah, well, you'll see a little bit later that all the bags of ore.
Yeah, that's all
downstairs.
from there. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, about 700 bags.
Sheesh.
And, maybe 60, 70 pounds each. So we had to empty that in order to be able to.
So this is where it all came from, you're saying?
Yep.
Yep. Yeesh. Who got to do that job?
Oh, Elaine and I were part of it. We had the clampers up here too.
Oh, I know about them. Yeah, they're good people.
They are good people, and they love to drink the beer too. So.
So you offer some beer and they were good to go?
Yep.
Wow, yeah, it still's got ore in it. That's cool.
Yeah. I would think that the ore that was in the bins here probably wasn't really high grade ore because they would have pulled it all out by hand, you know, back when they shut this part down.
It is cool though. It looks
Yeah.
like they still have some type of something in there, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So
here's-
this is the older part of the mill. From this wall and this way over to that wall is the Dazzit mill, and this was constructed in 1890. And it was constructed on footings from an 1860s mill. The first mill that was here
Just
built
kept
in
recycling it.
1860.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the Kelsey mill,
Yep.
built in 1860, and it ran from 1860 to 1878, and then it was dismantled, and who knows where it went. And then this Dazzit mill, built in 1890, was built on the footings from the Kelsey mill. So we got there's old footings around here. You can see that they were back in that day in the 1860s.
Cool though. Like, look at all the chips from them throwing those under there.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool stuff.
It's really cool stuff.
Yeah, and
Don't downplay it, man.
no, it isn't. And in fact, this last Tuesday, we had these stamps operating for the first time.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
So we had that generator going down in the.
So you woke whole Virginia City up, is what you did.
Yeah,
That's what Bear said. He said that on Christmas it was the only day that they weren't running, and everybody couldn't sleep because it was. Where's the noise? It was too quiet.
It was too quiet. That's right. That's right. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And a lot of dust was raised at that time. So the bowl wheel was turning and everything. So it was
Oh, that's awesome.
exciting time. But we still have some fine tuning to do. The jack stands need to be lengthened a little bit because the cams were hitting the tappets here as they rotate, and when the jack stands like these things
Yeah.
are in place, the cams should not hit the tappets and should not move
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
the stamps up and down.
So you just need to do a little adjusting, is basically.
Yeah,
all
a
it
little
is.
adjusting. And this, there's 5 stamps in a battery, so this battery here, we plan on getting operating and.
Cool, so I can get all my samples and bring them down? and-
Exactly.
Awesome, good. All right, I know who to call now.
Well, we might operate it, maybe a half hour a month or something like
All
that.
right, well,
So-
call me when that half hour's coming up, and I'll bring you.
Yeah. So it
My
won't
mortar
be
and
for production.
pestil's
really,
not
but-
doing it too well. I'm gonna need that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. This is awesome, though.
Yeah.
That's sick, though. You guys got this running. I didn't think you guys are. I mean, they didn't say anything about that when I came last time, so that's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it's been a couple of years. We planned on having this operating, some time ago, but we finally got it. So
That's sick.
that's good.
That's so cool. Good job, Don. This is sick.
And like we were talking about, this section here is the 1890s era, and we don't know for sure, but at some time this camshaft broke, and I'm sure
Oh,
it
that's-
caused all kinds of damage. But down here in the
Yeah, I see where it snapped,
is
and that's
the broken
piece.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those guys back then, the millmen, they were ingenious. They were strong. They had the right kind of equipment, to be able to set this up in 1890. They didn't have the big old cranes that you see.
No. That's what trips me out on some of these videos that I'll watch. I mean, they'll have something way off in the middle of nowhere and big pieces like this, and it's like they put all that together piece by piece.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And a
those
lot of this
poor
stuff
horses
was,
and mules, man.
it was hauled over the Sierras by mule or oxen or
Yep.
something like that, and then to be able to set it up.
Yeah, they're,
But a lot of work.
talk about some tough dudes, man. Back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah, they were tough, for sure. So we can,
Well, there's some of the bags right there.
yeah, we got some of the bags. So this is the bottom of the ore bins, that we looked at up above.
Yep.
And then the ore would come down these chutes and into a feeder. This is a feeder here
Yeah.
that fed ore into the mortar box. The mortar box is where this actual stamping and crushing goes on. And this feeder is actuated by an arm that comes out here, right out here, and it hits the bottom of this flange.
Yep.
So each time the stamp goes up and down, it moves this slightly, rotates this.
So more can come in.
Yeah.
Oh, these guys thought of everything. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
And this little pulley here has dogs in it, so it won't pull backwards. So
That's cool.
yeah,
There's a little
yeah, lots of timber work too. And then you can see in a lot of the timbers that are around here that they had been repurposed probably from other mills or mines.
Yeah, they always pull this stuff out after. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's cool. It's cool. You can see where all the rocks are banging down. Bam, bam, bam.
yeah,
Years of it.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we had to put a little patch there on the side of that chute because over a period of time, the ore would wear the sides of that chute down, so it wore a hole right.
Considering all the mines that were around here, I'm sure a lot of material went through all those.
Yeah, yeah. We can step back in here.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah. This is the area back here.
Yeah.
that I was saying that had dropped close to 3 feet. So we had a structure mover come in here, and he put some beams across here and some cribbing and jacked up the ore bins and the wall along with it.
All at the same time?
All at the same time, yeah. And then we came in here and dug this out, poured about 7 yards of concrete, had to cut off the old rotted pieces of timber,
Yeah.
and then put some new timber in there.
There you go.
That came from Truckee and Tahoe Lumber Company.
So local. So it's like all the wood still local.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's right. And then we made these brackets here, and then also the ones that we
Oh, they're the old
incorporated
ones,
into yeah, these were old ones, and
Size of those things.
then this was all rotted out too, so we had to cut a joint in here, and we didn't do it historically correct. We used a chainsaw. That's a lot quicker.
Yeah. Look at this though.
And like I was saying, a lot of this had been repurposed from older mines. So this was installed in 1890s, and it probably came from another mill. You know, who knows where from?
I just think it's cool. I mean, when you see, this is.
Yeah, they had to notch that off for some reason. And then if you look up here in the joints, you know, they used wood pegs in there.
Oh, wow.
To put the joints together. So they were craftsmen too.
Absolutely, they were.
And then there's a couple bats flying around in here.
Oh yeah. That's security.
Yeah, that's
The alarm's going off.
Yeah, they take care of the flies, bugs, stuff like that. So we had to replace a lot of the exterior wall too, because that had, fallen apart, and so we got a lot of 1x12 lumber from Truckee and Tahoe, and it was rough cut too, so we replaced a lot of the board and batten on the outside too.
We got two bats chasing each other over here. Yeah. That's cool.
Cool. And if you look closely, it says V&T Foundry, Carson City. We have a feeling that the mortar box might not have come from V&T Foundry, but they probably refurbished this particular mortar box and put their stamp on it. And this mortar box over here is constructed using arc welding, so I'm sure it was done at a later time, maybe in the 30s or something.
You can tell
like
on
that.
the top, yeah.
Yeah, we still have to build a
You got the
little
old
switch box and knob and tube wiring
for the wires, yeah.
Yeah, and the inspector said, go ahead and keep all the knob and tube wiring, just don't use it.
Yeah. Oh, this ran down here too. That's cool.
So, and this is, where the cyanide process took place, and I know very little about the cyanide
I was just gonna ask you, how did that work? So I guess that concludes that part.
That's right.
You said that basically it mixes, it combines with the gold somehow, and then in the screens back here, they're able to get it out better or something.
Yeah, once they incorporate some zinc into it, then the zinc is going to be able to
combine it.
Yeah, remove the gold and silver.
Yeah,
through filters and the Merrill Crow system. Yeah.
That's cool.
Did you want to go down and take a look at
Yeah, if you want to, real quick, yeah.
the zinc room?
Size of these things, though.
Yeah.
They said somebody fell in here once.
Yeah, there was a millman that fell in here, but from what we gather, he just climbed out and went back to work again. So,
Oh, wow.
And there was cyanide in it, so I think that the cyanide solution was very weak,
Yeah.
like 1 or 2% or something
okay.
like that. So it's not going to hurt anybody. So, and I do hear that the main thing you have to be aware of when using cyanide is, for instance, when you have a barrel of cyanide, the powder, and you pour some water in it, the fumes that come off
Oh, okay.
will
Get you.
get you.
For lack of a better phrase. So does the cyanide come out of this and sprinkle in, or?
Yeah, we don't know for sure how they got the cyanide out there. We assume that there was some kind of a pipe that went out to that little cone-shaped thing.
Maybe
And
they
then-
just add, since it's such a weak solution, they just put it right in that mixture right there, and that called it good.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was a lot of these arms sticking out at various lengths, so
Yeah.
they would just sprinkle the cyanide over the top of it, and it would leach out. And I think it's a lot like the heap leach places, you know, even up here at Comstock Inc., but only on a small scale,
Okay.
you know, and then the gold and silver would leach out.
So how, like, when they fill it with ore, do you know how much they would put in, or?
You know, I don't know for sure, but I think it's pretty close to the top here.
Wow.
And then there might have been a slime process too that they were using, and this might be what this launder is for. The slime
Oh.
would be coming off, and so.
Yeah, that might
There
make
again,
sense.
like
Yeah.
I say, I don't know the process, but we can.
We weren't there back then.
That's right. That's right. But we can BS with the best of them.
Yeah. And this is cool back here.
Yeah. Yeah. This is cool. We had one of William Donovan Jr.'s daughters back here, and she was talking about when she was 10 or 11 years old, and now she's 85. She would be back here helping her mom with this area. They would take these filters out that were located in between each one of these, and her job was to scrape the cake. The cake would be a mixture of the gold and the silver and maybe some other minor elements, copper and whatever, and collect that cake that was on there, and that would be taken up to a drying oven up here.
I'll try it.
Dried out
They have the.
completely, and then got taken down to the refinery where they would put it in a big crucible and melt
Just
it.
melt it all off.
So, yeah, but this is cool. And then she also talked about her mom being back here in this room and doing calculations, you know, to determine, how much cyanide, you know, to put in the process, whether it would be 1%, 2%, or whatever. And in fact, there's some old calculations and
Oh wow! Look at that.
yeah, right on the wall here. So
That's cool.
it is pretty cool.
Look at the square nail.
Yeah, yeah, lots of square nails in this area, that's for sure.
That's so cool.
And just this past winter, we put all new windows in this place. We got a grant from the Daughters of the American Revolution for $10,000. So we put in about 60 plus windows in here. So you can see all these are new windows. All the volunteers made the windows. We brought the windows to Ace Hardware in Dayton. They cut the glass and set it in place, and then we picked them up and brought them back up here and installed them. So
That's awesome.
60 plus windows and maybe 8 or 9 on the average panes per window. So it was a pain. Maybe close to 600 panes too. So that was a great,
That was a major deal. That's cool.
quite a project for this past winter. We spent a lot of time on that. So, but it's pretty well sealed up now. We had a lot of pigeons in here before, and they can make a mess.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is cool now. You got a couple bats and that's it, seems like.
Yeah, that's right. So, and if a person wants to do more research on this, Google Merrill Crowe process, and you can find out exactly how this
this all works,
process
okay.
works. Had collapsed close to 2 feet in some places. We had that same structural mover come in here and put beams across, set up 4 big cribs, and pick this up. And then we were able to replace all of these columns and that main beam that goes across there.
Oh.
So that's all new timber. We sprayed it with a concoction of white vinegar and steel wool. After a period of time, it turns kind of brown, and we spray it all, make it look
Older.
like it's old,
Okay.
old lumber. And then we built a hog valley up on top there to drain most of the water by gravity off of it. Because otherwise, it was just pouring down inside here.
Look at the size of that. It's like, that's all one sheet, isn't it? Just wrapped around?
Well, you can see welded sections every once in a while.
Oh,
So,
I see it.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe there's,
Still though, that's a
4 sections.
huge section of metal.
yeah. But like I say, that was all in the cyanide process, and I don't try and explain that.
Fair enough.
There was 2 more wood tanks in here, and you can see the footings, these footings out here.
Oh, it kind of
the
wraps,
wood
yeah.
tanks, and somebody dismantled them and built a hot tub in their backyard or something.
That'd be one historic hot tub.
Yeah, for sure. We had this thing running too just last Tuesday. So this is a rotary stamp mill. It came from up at Virginia City. Hugh Roy Marshall from the Marshall Mint donated this to us. It was laying in a gravel pit of his up in Virginia City.
Oh, wow.
We started talking to him, and they donated it to us, so we got it in here. It was pretty much all rusted up. Nothing would move on it, but a lot of elbow grease and a lot of PB Blaster and other oil. We got it lubed up, and we had it running here just on Tuesday, and it looks like it's going to be an operable piece.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I used to do car stuff too, so I know what rotary engines and how those work. So to see a stamp working in the same type of like.
Yeah, there's like over here, there's one cam for each one of the stamps.
Right.
And here, there's one cam that rotates in the center, and it picks up each one of the stamps and then drops them about 6-7 inches or something like that as it goes around. So it's kind of a cool piece of machinery, and I think it was mainly meant for the small miner that wanted to mill his ore up in the
Build or something.
Up in
and
the
then
hill
have
somewhere.
to build a giant.
yeah, and then they could dismantle this thing and put it on some mules and haul it up there.
Yeah, like a mule or two could probably carry all that up.
Yeah, and then they say with 2 people and 2 days, they could put it all back together again and be ready to start milling again.
Smashing some more down.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
We're very excited to get that. And
Yeah, that would be
we found a
too.
motor and a gear reducer and some belting to get it all going.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Comstocking brought in their big forklift and came in here and set it for us. And then we have a concentrating table here that we've been working on for some time. It came from another mill just a quarter of a mile away.
It's a shaker table, or?
Yeah. It's like a shaker table, concentrating table, and we had to rebuild the top part of it, and then covered it with EPDM. Made the riffles out of EPDM also. We still have to get the drive motor set up on it, and then also set up the water flow.
You already checked the riffles?
Pardon?
You already checked? There's nothing in there? No?
It wouldn't be now because that's
I'm
all
just
brand new.
Cool. That's awesome.
Lots of projects.
I love seeing the old sluices and like, all the stuff that they used to use back in the day. It's
Yes,
see how it's transformed into what it is now.
Yeah. We talked about having to dry out that cake material.
Right.
So this is the drying oven.
Oh wow.
So they would put that cake material in these pans, and put it in there and dry it out before.
So that way they
would
could get it
bring
to a powder form, basically, to get it into the
into
crucible
the
and
refinery.
everything. Yeah.
Because if you put something that's wet into a crucible, you know, it could create some steam. It could create a little explosion.
Okay, I see what's going on. Yeah, you don't want that.
You want to make sure it's good and dry before bringing it down there. Did you go in here when you...
Yeah, he showed us this and how there's like still, I don't think we'll be able to see without my light, but there's still little flakes of gold and stuff in here.
There probably is, yeah.
Let me see if I can get... He said all the little shimmers.
Yeah.
That's all gold, he said, so.
Okay. Whatever.
Alright, we can just go with that.
Yeah, we'll just say, okay, yeah, that's gold. There's about 2 pounds of gold in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Not really. But, you know, after the material was dried in that drying oven, they would bring it down here and put it in the crucible, and the crucible would be set inside the oven here.
Oh, they'd lift it, yeah.
Yeah. And I imagine it was coal, maybe wood also that they would use to heat it up. But they also had air over here. There's an air compressor in the next building, and they piped it over here, you know, so it would act like a forge. You know, when you add air to it,
Turn it up.
it turns up the heat. Yeah, yeah. And that same woman, that was a daughter of William Jr., was telling us about this process here. It was a family affair. Everybody would gather because this is where the final product came out. And this is the money end of the whole thing.
That's the exciting part.
So after it was heated up, then they would pour the melted product into an ingot, and it would always be a little slag on top, maybe some minor minerals, copper, some sand or whatever that they would break off of it. And
Yeah,
the rest would be and what do you call the combination of it? A doré bar, which would be some gold, some silver,
Oh, okay.
and then that would be taken maybe down to Carson or Sacramento. They would take little chips off of it just to determine how much gold, how much silver, and then Donovan would get paid based on that.
This is cool.
And that's where they would take the combination of gold, silver, mercury, maybe some other minor minerals, and that would be an amalgam, and they would bring it into this furnace here and put it in to the far end here, heat it up,
Oh, yeah.
and then the mercury would evaporate,
Yeah.
turn into a vapor. Yeah, they would collect that vapor, and it would come out the far end here, and it goes through a pipe that had another pipe over the top of it, where they would run cold water on it, and then it would turn the mercury vapor back into a liquid form again. They would recapture it and be able to reuse it.
And Sutro came up with that, right?
I don't know about that. I think they've been using mercury for
I swear that's what he said, because we did the whole Sutro tunnel tour, and I swear that's what they said, is that he came up with, that's his mill, or I might be wrong, I don't know.
Oh, you know what? He did have a mill in Dayton.
Right.
That's right.
And it burned down, and he came up with the whole, like, there was basically just like a pipe going to another pot, basically, and he would heat it up, and then they would transfer it over.
You're probably right. Didn't know.
Could be wrong, though. I think that's what he said, but.
Okay, very good. Very good.
You guys, well, that was the Donovan Mill. Let's say thank you real quick.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And check out the ComstockFoundation.org website, and you can donate there or come volunteer or whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Again, this is awesome. All right, you guys. Until next time.